Did you know that mountain biking can be dangerous sometimes? Yes, I did, thanks. And do you know any first aid that could help save someone else's life? Yeah, I do actually, but it's normally me that needs the help. Oh yeah. But for those of you that don't know any basic first aid, this is what mountain bikers should know. Including tips from a real life EMT, a real life hero, and my friend Nick, aka the Meerkat. Before we start the video, I would say make sure you are first aid trained. I am, and I refresh it every 2 years. It's super helpful. This video is purely advice. You may need some training to do some of the things we're doing today. Obviously, it's super important to make sure you're wearing protective equipment, so helmets, knee pads, gloves, things like that. And if you're going into the wilds on epic rides, then you might need to go one step further and think about getting a satellite phone. We use these at GMBN on those really exciting rides we do, because you never know when you might need help. Being prepared with an app like What 3 Words on your mobile phone can really help out as well. If you or someone else need help, it will give you a 3-word location that's completely unique to the 3 meter square you're in. Currently, I am in venturing released modes. And if you tell that to the emergency services, they'll know exactly where to find you. Also, knowing your limits, and particularly if you're riding by yourself, making sure you don't take any unnecessary risks can help keep you safe. Hi Nick, you are a medic at Dyfi Bike Park and a load of riding experience yourself. Yep. What are the most common injuries for mountain bikers? Well, I would say lacerations, definitely quite nasty ones you can get with some bad bleeding, collarbone fractures, and like obviously short bone fractures as well, arms and so forth, yeah. More serious ones as well? Yeah, so head injuries, C-spine pain, obviously, and abdominal injuries. Well, Nick, I've got some experience with injuries, and I normally keep a first aid kit in my van. Yeah. Just normally for cleaning up cuts, bruises, and all that sort of stuff. But yeah. What sort of stuff should mountain bikers have in their first aid kit? Yeah, so it's interesting, really. I suppose you can go sort of, for the minor stuff, you always need the old pad and a bandage. And pair of scissors. So, I mean, you know, that always works, but then obviously you move on from that, don't you? So if you've got like a major problem, you know, if you've got like a major bleed on your leg or something, or pick another part of your body, you can always use some of this gauze. So this is a hemostatic dressing, and that works well. That will stop a major bleeding, that will, you know. That, along with, again, a pad on top of it perhaps, and then a pressure bandage over the top of it would work and would stop you bleeding to death in the woods. Yeah, don't really want to do that in the woods. And often, I guess, we're dealing with friends as much as, you know, more than yourself. So someone, for example, shoulder injury, I've done separated shoulders a lot. Not too much problem, but broken collarbones. Yeah. I guess you're looking at helping those guys or girls out with a bandage of some sort, or getting them a sling. Yeah, you can try and put a triangular bandage on, can't you, you know, but have you ever tried to put one of them on? Very complicated. Anyway, got one of these marvellous pieces of equipment. So this is you'll like this. I'll stick it on you, Charlotte. Stick it on there. There you go. Stick that around there, and then this goes around the back here. There we go. Stick that around there, and then, hey presto, look at that. Pretty good. What's that called? That's called a Slishman's bandage, that is, and it has multiple uses. So you basically don't need to fill up your mountain bike kit with lots of different medical stuff, you know, loads of different bandages. This will cover a whole range of injuries, and we'll go into that in a minute. Nick, what have I done this time? You've done it again, haven't you? A good wrist. Yeah. We've put a little fracture support on it for you, haven't we, mate? How does that feel? Feels all right, but my wrist feels okay, so I'm not sure I need it. Oh yeah, you will do. If you took that off, it'll be all wobbly. So yeah, we put that on. That means you can get to the hospital and go and get an x-ray now. Okay.
Let go, let go, let go, let go, let go. Oh, shit.
Nick, I've fallen off the bike again, and I've actually had my brake lever go in my leg and it's bleeding quite heavily. What do I do?
You're like a cycling disaster, aren't you?
You're right.
Well, what we'd do normally, we'd expose where the wound is. So we'd cut up, we're using our scissors, cut up there, have a look at it, and if there's a hole in your inner thigh into your femoral artery, it's going to be pretty catastrophic, isn't it?
Oh dear.
So that's when we need the old hemostatic dressing. So what we do, we get this, and this actually stuffs inside of the wound. So let's say, for instance, we'd stuff it in, and we'd hold it on there like that, and then we obviously need to get some pressure onto that area. So then we just get a pad over there, pop that pad over it like that, there we go, and then we can use our cool little bandage again, slip that over there, there we go, and then we can get some real good pressure onto it like that. So we'd wrap it like this, round there, like this, there we go, we do it real tight, something like this. Something like this could definitely save your bacon.
What if I'm a vegetarian?
Your courgettes. There we go. And what it does, it just puts the pressure on where it's needed. There we go, and that'll hold it there. All right. Oh, Jossie.
Nick, you wouldn't believe it. I've fallen off again. I can't move and I'm getting cold. What do we do?
Right then, mate. We've got one of these out of our first aid kit. This will keep you warm for a while. There we go, son. And we probably need to get some help now if you feel that you can't move, don't you think? Mountain rescue.
Helicopter would be nice.
Yeah, any of them. All right.
Right, Nick, I'm fractured and I'm lacerated, but I don't feel that bad actually.
Oh,
Thank you very much. Yeah. But what about more serious if I've got someone unconscious with a head injury? What do you do then?
Yeah, so I guess you've got to revert back to your first aid training, really, haven't you? You've got to make sure their airway's clear, they've got neutral alignment, of their spine, and you need proper help then, don't you, really?
Thanks for showing me some of these techniques, Nick. I've used a couple of these in the past as well.
Surprisingly. Yeah, no worries. I mean, what we've done really, we've just covered it, basics, haven't we? You know, just put a pressure bandage on, done a bit of a fracture, we put a little laceration, covered a laceration over, didn't we? And we put a little sling there, didn't we, for your fracture of your collarbone. There's so much more to it than obviously what we've covered today, and that's what's really important to go on a first aid course, relevant to riding out and about, isn't it? You know, on your own especially, and but obviously you can help your mates as well. So if you all can do it, you've all got a good idea, and you know, hopefully you won't panic.
Hopefully this video will help you out. It's just a bit of a guide to the most common injuries of mountain bikers, but it's really important that you get first aid trained because you never know how it might help you out, or just take a Nick with you everywhere you go.